Okay. Stay away from. I'm gonna stay away from that information.
It looks like it's opened back in 1916. So this is
Yeah, that's
well
what I was.
over
Yeah,
100 years.
almost 100 years.
Yeah.
So we have a statement, a post from Governor Josh Shapiro. He's the governor of Pennsylvania. He posted on X, my administration is in touch with local officials in Clairton, Pennsylvania, as they respond to an explosion at U.S. Steel Clairton Coke Works plant this morning. He has been briefed by emergency management and Pennsylvania State Police, and they are in touch with first responders and have offered all assistance. The scene is still active, and folks nearby should follow the direction of local authorities. Please join Lori and me in praying for the Clairton community. That's from Governor Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. He posted that on X. You can see that statement again, giving us an update. As he mentioned, and as I just read, the scene is still active there. And if you know anybody in the area, or if you're even living in the area and you're watching WCNC Plus right now, just make sure that you're following direction of local authorities.
See, look at this. See, like this shot here, the aerial, like that. We don't know if that's what that fluid is. That's a charred truck right there.
Yeah. I mean, and it makes sure we're kind of doing some fishing right now to get you the most up-to-date information right now. Again, I read a statement from Governor Josh Shapiro, looking to see if anybody else in the state of Pennsylvania, or even in the Pittsburgh area, have more information. But let's recap. Let me recap in case you are just tuning in and you're just really trying to figure out what is going on and what you're looking at right now. So here's what I got, and here's what WPXI, the NBC affiliate in Pittsburgh, is reporting. Emergency crews are on the scene of an explosion at the U.S. Steel Clairton Coke Works. At least one person is dead and multiple people were injured in the explosion. Officials confirmed to Channel 11 that crews are also searching for people who may be trapped in the rubble. A mass casualty incident has been declared to allow for additional EMS resources from across the region to respond. Multiple medical helicopters were also called to the scene. Again, that is the information from WPXI there on the scene. And it looks like they have pictures on their website.
Nick, you just mentioned that multiple helicopters responded to this scene, so I was just checking flight data. And about 10 minutes after the 11 o'clock hour, I can see the first medical helicopter responding. I've seen at least 2 or 3 here on the flight tracker, just trying to get a scale for when they say multiple, how many helicopters came, how far away were they flying them in. So, we're able to track back that I can see one came from off to the east, another one came from the Pittsburgh area itself. You might also obviously suspect that one of these helicopters is the one that's currently flying around giving us the live aerial. So from that data alone, I can see 2 or 3 different helicopters all responded to this scene. I mean, by 11:20, there were 2 medical helicopters that looked like they were able to make the journey over there, and possibly more as I continue to kind of sift through this data.
Oh, well, and I want to read an article from AP News. Thank you, James, for that information. So, it recaps and it gives you a little bit more information on what's happening there. So, according to AP News, an explosion Monday at a U.S. steel plant near Pittsburgh has left dozens wounded and people trapped under the rubble, with emergency workers on site trying to rescue them. That's according to officials, and that's who they're citing. There are no confirmed fatalities at the Clairton Coke Works, said Abigail Gardner, Director of Communications for Allegheny County. So they are saying no casualties. However, WPXI, I just want to make sure I get this straight, it's saying at least one person is killed. So there are some conflicting reports there, and that I just want to point that out. AP News says no fatalities. However, the NBC affiliate in Pittsburgh says there is one fatality. One person is dead. I'll move on. According to AP News, the Allegheny County Emergency Services said a fire at the plant started around 10:51 this morning, and that it had transported 5 people. The agency did not provide any more details on those people transported and would only say it was an active scene. The plant, a massive industrial facility along the
I'm unfamiliar.
Monongahela River. I believe I'm saying that right. I'm not familiar with the area. A Monongahela River.
We know we have some Pittsburgh people actually in our newsroom,
Yeah.
so if they want to correct us, please let us know.
So the plant, a massive industrial facility, is just along a river just south of Pittsburgh, I should
Correct.
say. And it's considered the largest coking operation in North America, and is one of 4 major U.S. steel plants in Pennsylvania that employs, as Carlene pointed out, I think you said 1,200?
It's around 1,200 is what I saw.
AP News is saying several thousand workers. So,
Okay.
So I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, but, you know.
Again, we have pointed out there's some difference in reporting
Correct.
so that's why we're going back and forth. So back in June, the U.S. Steel and Nippon Steel announced that they had finalized a historic partnership, a deal that gives the U.S. government a say in some matters, and comes a year and a half after the Japanese company first proposed its nearly $15 billion buyout of the iconic American steel maker. So it looks like there was a partnership, there was a deal made back in June with this plant. Scrolling down just to give you a little bit more context. I want to give you some context. So in recent years, this is according to AP News, in recent years, the Clairton plant has been dogged by concerns about pollution. In 2019, it agreed to settle a 2017 lawsuit for $8.5 million. So again, this is reporting from AP News. AP News, and make sure, I want to refresh this. At last checked, they are not confirming any fatalities at this plant. That's according to AP News. However, WPXI, the local affiliate from Pittsburgh, the NBC affiliate, says at least one person is killed. Both outlets are saying that there's a search for workers who are trapped in the rubble. And just to give you might be wondering, where is this area? Where is it? How, we say Pittsburgh. It's about 10 miles south of Pittsburgh, so about 30 to 40 minutes
Right.
Away from Pittsburgh. So again, you see that damage, you see the smoke. Moments ago, did we get a pronunciation?
Monongahela.
Monongahela.
Monongahela is the next street.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's one of the 3 rivers of Pittsburgh, right?
Okay.
Monongahela. This area is, I'm from the Pittsburgh area originally, so I can help out a little bit. So this area is heavily industrial, up and down the highway there, right along
Okay.
the Mon, they call it locally. And you can see it in both sides, Glassport, McKeesport, on down. It's just the industry, heavy industrial, and they have emergency crews
Okay.
specifically designed to handle these kinds of incidents at these huge giant factories. Of course, Pittsburgh's synonymous with the steel industry, so they have specially designed teams that are ready to go and launch for when these kinds of things happen. So I suspect that they would be, without knowing for sure, I suspect that they would already be on scene there. I saw a bunch of emergency crews.
Yeah.
Looks like whatever fire may have been going, they may have put out because
Yeah.
there's a ton of water in and along the railroad tracks. Again, rail is big in that industry because that's how they moved all the steel for quite some time through there. Yeah, but you can see the Mon right there up in the north part of the top part of your screen there as you go.
I'd imagine it's probably something they also train for. We were talking about the medical helicopters. As I continue to go through the data, I count at least 5 medical helicopters that arrived at the scene from different locales.
100%.
It looked choreographed.
Yeah, there's go teams that are prepared to respond to any kind of industrial accidents at these large plants because they're so complex. Like you cannot run. Look at what we're seeing on screen right now. You can't run in and around, to the scene just by nature of the way that these plants are set up.
It's so massive.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
massive.
These plants are, they have escape routes. It's almost like a small city because the coordination that it takes to get people in and out is very, very tricky. And it's not as easy as just evacuating, right? You have to go in and around and again, you can't leave a plant either because it's constantly running. There's heavily pressurized lines throughout. Every pipe that you see there is obviously a pressurized line that they have to keep control of. I suspect, just looking at that rail line too, I suspect that rail is probably halted through that area because, again, it's very, very dense. CSX is one of the big ones, of course, in Norfolk Southern, the other, but I suspect those are probably at least put on hold in some respects because, again, these rail lines are used quite a bit down, especially down through that area.
Man, that was a great context, Sharif.
Right.
You're the first person. We know you're
a Pittsburgh guy.
Pittsburgh guy. So I'm glad you came back here and gave us some context. That's our assistant news director, Sharif, giving us some great context in this from Pittsburgh, knows the lay of the land. Some great historical context as well regarding the railroad, the river. And just how complex this is, right? It's no easy in and out of the plant, as we've seen from our aerial views here. And what we've been seeing is, one, we've seen the rubble. We've seen just how large and massive this plant is. And we've seen what looks like emergency crews, workers, and as Sharif was saying, they are always there for the just in case, the worst case scenario.
Yeah. With something this big and complex, you'd have to have these people at that ready. On
standby. And this was essentially the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So it looks like that fire is out.
Let me show you the aerials. I just want to be transparent that we're kind of going back and forth from aerials because we don't necessarily want to show images that might be disturbing to folks or something that's a bit sensitive. So we are trying to do our best to monitor that.
Right. And we don't know, so we do know from reporting from AP News and WPIX that people are trapped. Workers are trapped in that rubble. So again, we're trying to be sensitive. We want to be sensitive to that. But that is a look at a portion of the plant is badly damaged. You could see right there on your screen how badly damaged that is, and that's water. I'm guessing coming from the pipes.
I imagine so. Yeah.
But this is a ground level view. You see first responders. You see the patrol car there. There are obviously more first responders within that area. It's such a big plant that it's this view in a way. It doesn't do it justice to see how big, but again we're going back and forth. We want to be sensitive in case. We just want to be sensitive.
Sharif mentioned all the rail traffic that goes through there, and you can see the tracks and some of the cars and some of the shots. Just to add to the complexity, it seems to be more than one railroad that even operates through this area. I was just looking at DOT maps. So when you terms of like shutting down a railroad, you're going to have multiple parties involved. And also the terrain here looks real tricky, as is most of western Pennsylvania, because you've got the river and a relatively flat area where the plant is built up. But then you can also just see topographically how quickly the hills and the mountains start to rise.
Deep in PA. Like that part of PA I've driven through, and it is like, whew, you are driving right next to just something that seems like it's just going a hill straight up.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's definitely a complicated terrain for sure.
I believe we're getting an update from WPIX. I'm looking at their feed right now. I know we don't have it up. I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if they're doing continuous coverage or if they're dipping in and out of this. I did see a reporter there, but
which feed, Nick?
From their website.
Okay. Let me take a look.
But thank you for staying with us as we approach the top of the hour here on Live Impact News. I'm Nick Serdervant. Carlene Bragg is here. James Brierton, Jeb Goldman's also here. We're tracking this. It's breaking news out of the Pittsburgh area. WPIX is reporting at least one person is killed after this explosion at U.S. Steel Clairton Coke Works plant. Let's send it now to the to coverage there at WPXI in Pittsburgh. Let's take a listen in.
They've lost someone today, and it's just absolutely tragic. And now I grieve for these families, and again, I'm proud to stand with the steel workers and to make sure why we do anything possible after this terrible tragedy.
Tragedy that we know has already left one person dead and numerous people taken to the hospital, dozens of people injured. If you look at your screens right now, you are seeing the Lieutenant Governor now weighing in on this as well. Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis saying in part, "The Mon Valley is my home and I know people that work at the Clairton Coke Works. Blair and I are praying for the workers and their families, and I've been in contact with local leaders and the steel workers. The Commonwealth is providing whatever resources and manpower are needed to help with emergency response." The governor also weighing in on this just a short time ago. And all of this, as we are updating you on air, we are also updating online, so you can get the latest on WPXI.com. We've also been looking at how many people live around this plant. So just for some perspective, we know there's about 3,153 people who live within a mile of the plant. That will be relevant as we start to learn if there are any environmental impacts and any air quality issues. Of course, health officials now on the ground as well. Alyssa.
Tara, thank you so much. And we want to show you this new perspective. We're just getting into this our newsroom. This is Drone 11 up over the Clairton Coke Works plant where that explosion happened around 11 o'clock this morning. People in the area said that they heard the boom, they felt the boom even, and at one image there's a picture showing a burnt vehicle down there as well. So again, this explosion happened around 11 o'clock this morning, injuring dozens of people. This is something we're going to continue to follow, and we'll give you breaking details throughout the afternoon, and look for any kind of updates on the WPXI News app, and we'll have the latest for you at 4, 5, and 6. That's all for Channel 11 News at noon. Our next newscast is today at 4. Until then, look for updates on today's top stories throughout the afternoon on the.
All right, so we are at the top of the hour. That is some coverage from the NBC affiliate there in Pittsburgh. Again, just recapping what we have right now. Make sure I get you the latest, and I'm refreshing the page. This is from WPXI there in Pittsburgh. At least one person was killed and dozens of others were injured in an explosion at the U.S. Steel Clairton Coke Works plant. Officials confirmed to Channel 11 that crews are also searching for people who may be trapped in the rubble. A mass casualty incident has been declared to allow for additional EMS resources from across the region to respond.